This conference will now be
Hi everyone. I believe you got chance to see the day one content. In day one, we have covered informations related to what is Java, why we need Java, and what are the different types available in the market, which you can use for your development, like standard edition and enterprise edition. Who can use a standard edition? Who can use an enterprise edition? And when you are planning to do a small device application, which version select? Those things we have seen in the previous session, and we have also covered about uh, your IDE, like which IDE we are going to use for this core Java, and throughout this course journey, what are the IDEs we will be using, and if you don't have a personal machine like a laptop or a desktop, how can you practice yourself? Like if you have your mobile phone itself, you can very well do it because there are so many online compilers are available. By using the online compiler, you can do your hands-on. So these are the things we have discussed, and finally we have done one small program also, like hello world kind of thing. We have downloaded the IDE, and we have downloaded the software also, the JDK software also, and we have seen that how you can run your very first program. Like every programming language, here also we have created one hello world program and we have done it. So those are the things we have seen in the previous session. Is there any doubt in that particular section? Day one, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, thank you for the confirmation. So today we will be continuing the same thing. First we will understand the structure of the Java, like how your code will be. Then we will jump on to the technical part, like the structures and what are the files would be there, how it looks like and all. But initially, if somebody is providing you IDE, that is any editor, if they provide you when you join a company, when you are part of any development, if they're assigning you any code, then you should be able to differentiate what are the files you need to work, what are the files will be generated as part of your development. So that clarification is needed. So for that, we are going to see the IDE structure. So there are two different things. One is you don't need IDE also. You can do the development as I already mentioned. If you have a notepad, that itself is sufficient to write the code, and there are some Java comments available which will help you to compile the code and to execute the code. So usually two steps would be there. So as we are in the beginning, early stage, we don't want to do it immediately. Over the period of time, we can very well try that, but in the beginning phases we will be using the IDE, any IDE, like we are selecting IntelliJ for our training courses. So that we will be using. I'm sharing my screen. Please confirm once you're able to see my screen. Is my IDE visible, IntelliJ?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So when somebody is giving you a code, you should be able to say these are the things I need, these are the things, even if it is not available, I'm okay with that. So that one we are going to discuss when you create any one project. So if you would have followed my previous video, I've clearly mentioned how to create a project, a new project in your IDE. So when you are doing your practice using online compiler, then you don't need this concept at all. You will have the individual class files you can run, you can execute and see it. But when you go for an organization, a company, a developer at all, in those cases you really need to follow the structure, because that is a standard format of any developer. So you will be handed over with any IDE based upon your organization policy. It can be Eclipse, it can be STS, it can be Visual Studio Code, whichever they feel comfortable, your team already has selected, or the architects in your team has proposed that those IDE only you will be using for your development. So we are discussing about IntelliJ. In the next sessions we will be discussing the other IDEs also. So in IntelliJ, when you create a new project, this is how it looks like. You can see some name here. This is your project name which you have given when you click on this file, new project. So when you click on file, new and project, as I showed in the screen, it will prompt you. In the prompt, we have given a name like Jan Training. That's why it has created a folder called Jan Training. So let's expand this. So inside this, you can have, like you can see multiple folders. So you can ignore this as of now because it's not adding anything to your development. The main thing which you have to concentrate is your SRC and out folder. So SRC is the actual source code. So in technical term, developer used to talk like this only. Please share the source code. Source code is nothing but the actual code which you have developed. Okay, so under the SRC folder, you will have something called a different, like this is the main.java. This is a class file created by ID itself. Last time when I clicked on the option sample code, one checkbox was there. When I clicked on it, it was asking me. I clicked on that, then immediately it created this particular class. I didn't create manually, it was done automatically. So main.class is the class created automatically and it is available under the folder called SRC. So this is how your structure would be there. So under this class you have a method called main method. This is the one. So don't need to worry about this method at all now. Only at the class level you can see under SRC folder you have something called main class. One file, actually it is a file. Under this SRC folder you have a file created. You can see the similar structure in your Windows directory also. When you create a project, you would have selected some path, C colon dot, like D colon. So whichever folder you have selected, in that particular folder, a new path would have been created. So under SRC, you can see a file called main. Similarly, you can see something called this under the out also. So out is nothing but the generated code. So as I already told you, I have created a file called main.java. This is the source code file where I am writing all the logics. Once I complete my logics, I'll be compiling the code. So once I compile, it will be converted to main.class. A relevant class file will be created. So where it will be available? It will be available in a completely different path. That is under the out folder only. You can see a file called main.class. So this is the file. You can see main.class. You can see the difference between the extension. Main.java is a code, like code file where I am writing all the codes. Main.class is a file which is generated after compilation. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Class file has generated for me. It will be in a separate path only. So this is how we do. Usually when you want to hand over your working model to someone, say for example you have assigned with the task, like onshore team is giving that do a calculator program, you have completed the program. Instead of giving the source code, because source code is meant for the development, but for the end user they want the application to be running. That is when they click on the addition button, 2 plus 2 equal to 4 should work. So they want the actual working model. In that case you won't be sharing this SRC folder related content. you will be sharing the compiled version only. So your class file will be generated only if the compilation is success. If it is not success, then you won't be getting this class file and the further process also won't happen. So this is a structure. You will have two folder. One is SRC, which has the source code. All the files whichever you are creating, it can be the calculator program or it can be the shipping logic. When you do any online shopping app, different activities will be doing. Login you will do the select product and you will place the order and you will cancel the order. So many activities would be there. For each activity, if you are creating new file, means all the files will be grouped under this particular folder. Once it is compiled, then the relevant file will be created. You can cross check also. So as your hands on, what you can do is you can go to the directories in your laptop like C colon or D colon, wherever you have chosen. Like this is how we have done, right? File, new project. So here only I was telling, right, I selected a path called d colon slash java code. So inside this path you can see this folder called src and you can see the main file and you will have the out file. So you should not delete the source code, but if you want to play around, you can very well delete this dot class file and you can do the compilation again. When you do it, a new file will be created. So that we call it as clean build kind of thing. Usually because of some issue your old file is not giving proper output, but still you have a proper code, your source code, means you can very well delete the dot class file and regenerate the file. So for regeneration, you are not going to do any additional step setup. You can go here, you can click on the execution, then the new class file will be generated and you can cross verify whether it is an issue with the compilation or your code itself is creating some problem. You can cross verify. This is the structure. And next thing is external libraries. So many libraries are there. So usually uh, before this advanced concept and all, for everything as a developer we used to write hundreds of lines. Every logic, if you want to print some log statement or if you want to write some additional task like uh, sending SMS, we'll take an example. Sending SMS means you have so many logics you have to write and then only the SMS will be sent to the customer. If you are developing an online shopping app, obviously you have to send some OTP, you have to do some authentication and all. For that we used to write n number of lines, but now all these things are already available. Like you have to use the supporting libraries alone, somebody would have already developed and that library is available for you. You can add that library in your particular class path and you can work on it. So that is the concept of having a external libraries apart from the code which you are developing. If you are in need of developing some new logic and it's already developed by some other team member or from external sources, you can very well convert that as a jar file and add it into your class path and you can execute the program and see it. So this is how we have it, the external jar files also. So you can see n number of jar files added in your n number of jar files added in your path, and that one you can very well refer it here. Okay, so you can see all these jdks, everything. These files, as this is the very first time we are doing, I didn't add external jar files. These are the basic files needed for your program to run. So automatically these files are added by this version. I've selected the Java version as part of new project creation. So these Java files are part of the JDK version which I have selected. So under this JDK 18, all these jar files are added. If you need something additionally apart from this, that for that also you can refer from outside. So these are all coming with the initial package itself and that we are referring. This is the one which we call it as the structure of your code in IDE or the packages. But actually, this is the one we call it as. So I'm closing this class file. 1 minute. Okay. So this is the class file. So now we are going to see something called anatomy of Java, the structure of Java, how a Java file should look like, what are the basic content it should have. With that, you can run your program properly. That is the one we are going to see. For that, I'm going to use the default program created. So this is the class file. Usually, the skeleton will have very basic thing called package. When you create the code by default, it is not creating. Okay, so I'm going to explain that. For that, I'm going to take an example of our supermarket shopping itself. Say for example, you are entering into a supermarket. Inside the supermarket there are so many things available. You can see your groceries, you can see fruits, you can see veggies, so many things are available. But when you approach them, these things are arranged in a proper way. That is, fruits means everything would be on the right hand side, your groceries means everything on the left hand side. Some order they used to follow, but they keep the fruits everything in a common place. They won't keep fruits and groceries in in the same places. Fruits means it will be in section A. If they have predefined that place for fruits, mean only fruits would be there. And next to the fruits, they won't keep the other thing. They won't mix things together, they won't club things together, because the customer will get confused. So if they are maintaining a rack for a grocery, say some flours or some pulses, if they want to keep, then all the related items will be kept in that particular rack only. They won't mix that things together. If they want to keep all the refrigerator items, means everything will be placed in a refrigerator zone only. So why they are doing all those things? If somebody is entering for the very first time, it should be user friendly, so that if they ask like, I want to buy rice, where can I go, then they will say that go towards left section is meant to for the groceries, you can very well buy your groceries from there. Then you will complete all the shoppings related to groceries. Next, if you want to purchase a veggie, means you can ask them, where can I find vegetables. You can go to the right hand side, there all the vegetables will be kept. So this is how we will have the supermarket arrangements. Not only in supermarket, if you go for any shopping or related items also, what they will do, all men things would be in men's section, women's section will be separate, kids section would be separate. So they have a separate things, but one thing they will make it for sure, that is, they will group all the gender related things in a common place. Like male related things would be in the male section, men's section only. Similarly here, if you are planning to create one new application, if they're asking any task to you, then they will arrange in such a way that it will be easily accessed. So let's take an example. Your company is running two online shopping app. Okay, randomly I'm choosing some names. Reality it won't happen, just pulling some names like Amazon and Flipkart. Both the applications are developed by a same team only. Both of them are developed by a same set of people. So Amazon is for one company and Flipkart is for the another company. So both the things are developed by same set of team members only. If you are doing such activity, then you should not mix the file of Amazon to the Flipkart, because Amazon also have activities like uh, placing an order and canceling an order. Flipkart also will have the placing the order and canceling the order. So what they will do, it will be confused if you keep all the files under the SRC folder. It will be clumsy, at the same time it will create a problem also. To avoid it, what they will do is, they will group all the Amazon related code in a particular folder, and they will group all the Flipkart related code in a particular folder. When they segregate like this, it will be easy for the developer to do the development. And at the same time, if the person wants to work only on Amazon code, then they will download the particular code and they will work on it. If a person wants to work on the Flipkart code, then they will download the Flipkart code and they will work on it. If they want to work on both the things at the same time, then the folder structure will help them, because the file name most of the time what they will do, we will create a file name which is relevant to the activities which you are doing. If I want to write some logic for cancel order, then I will create a class called cancel order. Under the class only I will have all the functionality added. So Amazon also will have a file called cancel order, and Flipkart will also have a file called cancel order. So it will be confusing if you keep everything under the same folder, the SRC folder. For that, we have brought in a concept called package. So what is this package? Packages are nothing but group of similar classes. So in supermarket, what we are doing, all the biscuits are kept in a same rack. So group of similar items. All the snacks are kept in a same rack. So group of similar items. So here what we can correlate, supermarket is equal to package in your Java world. So whenever somebody say package means, what you can think about it, you can correlate with the supermarket, your real-time example. In supermarket, you have so many things. Again, the so many things are grouped together. Biscuits in one place, juices are in one place, fruits are in one places. So those are all group of similar items. That is in supermarket. When you come back to this packages in Java, it is nothing but group of similar classes. So we are going to create a package because I can have n number of classes created. Say if I'm running multiple batches of students, then for 6 to 7 p.m. student, I can have one folder, one package created. For another time, I can have different folder created, so that I'll be in track of what are all the class files I've created for 7 to 6 to 7 p.m. students, and what are all the files I've created for other batches. So that is the way we can have a clean code. At the same time, it is a skeleton that we have to follow in Java. So packages means it will be something like this: com dot company. In real world, this is how it will be. Okay, com dot company. So by default, your first thing would be com. Instead of company, you can have anything based your organization names. You can give here Amazon, Flipkart, whatever you want to give, you can give here. That is how people used to follow the package names. So your package name will be com dot Amazon, com dot company, com dot training. So I'm going to keep something called com.isha because we are working for them, right? So I'm doing something like this. So going forward, what are all the changes I'm doing for this particular 6 to 7 p.m. batches? Everything would be under this com.isha folder. So currently it is showing me an error. So one important thing in this ID is whichever is showing in the red color, it is called error. So red color means error, yellow color means it's warning. So red color, if it is red color, I can't run this program. I already told you. So if I click on this, click on run, bottom it is start like it is trying to compile. It will take some time. You can see it is loading, but it is taking some time. Yes, it's done. Can see it is showing me an error stating that package name com.company, it is not available. Why? Because I didn't create any folder for this. It is throwing me an error that it is not available. Error means it is red color, I already told you. So what I have to do is I have to mouse over on this, and you can see there are different options available. The very first option is move to package com.isha. So this is the option it is giving. You can have a look into this folder structure also. So now you have only thing like this, com isha. See, you have something called src, under that you have something called main. You don't have a folder called isha now, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to mouse over and I'm going to say this, move this folder under the isha. So now you can see a folder com.isha is created. You can see this in your d colon or c colon, wherever you have created a project. You can very well trace it there also. Before making the change, how it's doing, and after making the change, how it's doing. You can very well see it. Okay, now I'm making the change and compiling. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, we can
Okay.
see the IDE right now.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. So once it is done, you can see the file is compiled and you can see package. So you can see some color combinations also here. Some text are in this color, some text are in different color, and some text are in this color. So you can see like more like 4 to 5 color combinations here. So we are going to see these things one after the other. The very first thing is, whenever you see like a kind of orange shade, I can say these things are the keywords in Java. Okay, so whenever you have these words, you cannot use it. So these are the keywords. What is this keywords? In other words, these are the reserved words in Java. You cannot use the same name as a variable name or a class name or the file name. You cannot use it because these words have a specific meaning in the Java world. If somebody is saying public, means how it will work. There is a meaning behind this. There is a specific notation for this particular thing. So you should not use these things in your regular variable declaration and all. So even if you declare, it will throw an error like it is a reserved word or a keyword. You cannot use it in the development. So these color codes are showing that these are the reserved words, and this is my method, and this is the statement. So it is going in a different color. So coming back to this, so I have a very first thing called package. Package is nothing but group of similar classes, and that one we have added here in the anatomy of Java. Then very next thing is class. So you will have a package, then you will have a class. Class is nothing but you will have the similar methods. I told you, right? If you want to uh, place an order, so you are landing into a online shopping app. Inside this online shopping app, what you will do, you will first select a product, and then you will add your shipping information, then you will do the payment. So these are the three steps you will do, but the end of the day, what we will call, you have placed an order. So when you want to place an order, three things you have to do. First, you have to select the product, then you have to do the uh, like add your informations, your personal information, your contact information, shipping informations, everything you will add. Then finally you will do the payment related task. So you will have a class called I told place an order. Under this you will have n number of activities. So what are the activities you will have? You will have activities. First thing is select product. Second thing is add customer details or your own details. Third thing is make payment. Once you do these three steps only, you will say your order is placed. So for that, what we will do in Java, we will create different blocks, because when you want to select a product, for this again you will do so many options. It's not like straight away you will go and select the product, right? First you will search the product. Once the product names are displayed, what you will do, you will say, let's take an example of shirt itself. Once you select the shirt, what you will do, you will check the size, you will go and verify the size chart. Once you select the size chart, you will pick up the size, then you will select the color whichever you prefer. So you will select the color. So inside the select product itself, you will have so many things to do. Like you have to check the size, color, price, so many things you will check. Then only you will finalize this. Yes, this is what the product I want to purchase. So what we will do inside the class, this is the class I'm doing means you will have sub modules called methods. Anyhow, we will see that in detail. What is class, what is method and all, we will see it in details later. But in the anatomy, when you are creating any new class file, this is how it should look like. First thing is you should have a package. Second thing is you should have a class file. Inside the class file, you should have a method. What is this method? It is a block which has the steps that needs to be completed to finalize my activity. So inside that you can have n number of steps, like selecting a product can have n number of steps, but you are grouping them everything under one category called select product. So that we call it as method. So now what is a skeleton? If I want to say the anatomy means what and all, we will have something called package, we will have something called class, we will have something called method. So these three things are mandatory for your any new file creation. Again, let's discuss about this alone. Okay, anyhow we will have a separate topic called access modifier, but in every class you will be defining as public in the initial few days at least. So first we want to know what is this public. Public is nothing but giving some information to the user, like who and all can use this class, who and all can access this class. So that is the information we are giving here. So let's take the supermarket example itself. You are going to the supermarket and you are allowed to purchase anything. That is, you can go and you can buy things, but when you want to come out, you will be asked to pay the amount. Okay, you are going near the billing counter, you are showing the product, you are giving the money, and you are coming out. That is fine. So that is called the public access. Anybody can enter into the supermarket. They can buy the product whichever they want and they can come out. That is fine. But will they allow you to enter into the billing counter to open the drawer, like wherever they are keeping the money, wherever they are keeping all the cash related activities? Will they really allow you to that particular place? You cannot actually, you cannot do it, because this is the reserved one for the supermarket employees only. They are only supposed to handle the cash whichever the customer is providing. They only take it and they will put it in the particular cashier area and they will do all the money related aspect. Similarly here in Java also we have some restriction, like who and all can access this class, who and all can use this class, who and all are not supposed to use this class. There are some restrictions available. So such restrictions are handled with the particular category called access modifier, who can access. In one of the session I will be explaining that in detail, what are the different access modifier is available, when to use which access modifier and all will be seeing. But for now keep one thing in our own mind, that we will be using public access modifier because this program is accessed from outside and it is allowed to do also, because I'm doing a training demo only. So we are doing it. So this is the one we are discussing. Next thing is, so far what and I'll discuss, I'm sharing the screen again. I'm showing that particular skeleton in a PPT presentation mode. 1 minute. I hope my screen is visible. Okay, so if somebody asks you an interview question, what is the anatomy of Java? So the simple answer is the one which I'm showing. So this is the interview point of view. You will have a package. Under that, you will have similar classes. Each classes will have multiple method, but there should be a main method. So main method is nothing but from where your program will start. So I've shown you a default method created by IDE. There also you can see a method called main. It is the one where your program will be kick-started. So this is how your anatomy will look like. So classes, supermarket thing you have taken example. So package is equivalent to your supermarket. Class is equal to the like, or can I say your biscuit zone. So under the biscuit zone, you will have different items. Milk biscuits would be there, salt biscuits would be there. You will have different option. That is called your method. So main block is package, then the sub block is class, and the final block is method. So this is the anatomy of a Java program. Usually people will tell like this only, but one more important steps also is there. So anatomy means not only your code. As a developer, you should be able to handle that part also, that is commenting. Say you are joining one organization, and that is the very first time you are handling the code, and people are giving the kt, that is fine, but to an extent only they will give the kt. So if you can see my screen, I'm deleting all the codes. I hope my id is visible now. Okay, so I'm changing the file. One more important thing, you can see some error here. See, it is saying there is an error. What is the error? The class place and order is public should be declared in a file named this. So it is saying that if you are planning to change the name of a class, then the file name also you have to change. Yes, that is the one of the important rule. Like when your class name and your file name should be same. If you are planning to change the name of the class, then obviously the file name also you should rename it. So that is the thing you have to follow. Either I can rename this file as place and order, or I can change it back to main. So whichever way I can do, I can very well follow. I'm just planning to maintain as main itself. So I'm maintaining it as main. Now you can see I'm not seeing the error at all because my class name and the file name are same, so I'm not getting the error now. Now coming back to the anatomy, I've told packages, classes and methods. So these are the categories we have as the anatomy of the Java. One important thing is comments. This is also falls under the anatomy of Java only. So if you are joining an organization, if somebody is giving you a code, you can be really technically strong enough to understand the logic, but business wise somebody should be there to tell why they have added this conditional statement, why they have added this looping statement. Everything they have to explain to you. So it won't happen that frequently. At the same time, you itself would have added some code 6 months back. After 6 months, if you want to revisit the code, you might forget it. Why I added this particular logic? What is the reason behind this particular code? You might have forget it. So the best practice is adding the comments for your code. So comments are nothing but some instructions or some general codes which you added. It is not the actual code, actually it won't compile as part of your compilation. I told you, right? You will be having a class file with .java extension. Once you compile successfully, it will create a .class file. That is what the one we have discussed. But when you add something under the comment section, it won't give you any error even if you do some mistake in the comment section. Like even Java, you cannot have some special character, something it will throw error if you randomly typed something like this. So see, I'm typing like this. Okay, when I type something like this, it is showing me something in error, saying unexpected token. It is saying I don't know what is this. You're something you're typing in the IDE, it is saying like this. This is the error you will get it because it is part of my code. But If I'm adding something inside the comment section, there are two ways to add the comments. One is the single line comment, that is two slashes. Can you see now? I'm not seeing any error in my question mark because it is under the comment section. So whatever you want to add some notes to your fellow developer or for yourself itself, if you are fixing any bugs, if you're adding any new feature, you can add your comments here stating that added these lines for sending an email. So if you have some heading like this, it won't create a problem. You can pass the information. Whoever is opening this file next time, they will get an idea why these 10 lines are added recently, what is the reason for these 10 lines. So they can read it and they will come to an understanding that yes, it is needed for the send email functionality, they have added this. But if you add the same line without the slashes, it will throw you an error because Java will think this is a code and it will try to correlate it with the regular Java programming and it will get confused and throw an error. To avoid it only, we have something called comments. The one important thing is to have a neat code and for the knowledge transfer also. Second thing is you might be using a code like a send email functionality is there. You have added. So usually this is happen in the regular cycle also. They will have a SRS create that they will have a document creator. We will have all the functionality created, tested, everything would have been done. But finally, when you want to give it to the customer, they will say that no, no, I don't want this feature now. I will take this feature in the next quarter. But you have completed the development, your tester also tested your code and they certified it. Everything is good. So it's supposed to deliver to the customer, but customer is not ready to accept this particular functionality alone. They are ready to take the other functionality. Say they are giving 10 functionality for this particular quarter. 9 they are ready to take. The 10th one only they are saying I don't want this. So in that cases, you don't need to erase all those things. You don't need to rewrite the code. So what they will do? They will comment the lines which are all added for the particular functionality where customer is saying I don't need it now. They will comment it and they will keep it in the file itself, because anyhow if I comment it, it won't be compiled, it won't create any impact to the customer. So it is called dormant code. They will keep it as a dormant, it will be in a sleeping mode. Next quarter, if they say that, if customers say that hey, give that code to me now, so now what they can do, they can very well uncommented the low particular lines and they can build and they can provide the code to the customer. So it is avoiding the duplicate activities. Unnecessary, you don't need to do the activity again and again. So that is the other advantage. So two things we do, one is for the knowledge transfer, second thing is for the clean coding, or I can say that avoid duplicate activities and all, we can very well do the dormant code functionality. Next thing is you can add a code stating that this is added for release 2000 2022 something. You can add the year, some comments also people used to add it over a period of time. You can see any cleanup needs to be added in future if they feel that this is added for 2022 release and they kept it as dormant. Customer told that I will take the code in next quarter, but they didn't take it. They waited for 6 months, they waited for 1 year, still customer is not ready to take it. Means yes, you can very well delete the code by seeing the comments itself. It is there in the dormant for 1 year, customer is not ready to take it, yes, we can very well clip it. So having a proper comment in your code is also one of the important responsibility of a developer, I can say. Because it is not developing something, the functionality wise you can do wonders, but finally a neat coding is one of the important tasks, so that anybody comes to your team, they should be able to see the code. Some people will really say that he is a good developer, because the way of development, the way of coding is really good. They will have proper comments, they will follow the proper skeleton, so that is why they say it as they are a good developer. So the skeletons we have seen. First, what we have seen? We have seen the package, class, functions, that is methods. Then the comment sections also we have seen. So comment, there are two options. One is this one, that is, if you have a double slashes, this we call it as single line comment. If I want to have it in a multiple lines, okay, so I can have like this, that is added these line for sending an email. Either you can do like this, or you have another option called multiple line comments. If you have a symbol like this, slash and star, so this is the beginning of the multiple line command. It means that what are all the lines which is following this particular symbol are all commands, it is not the actual code. Then it will look for something like this, star slash, it means that is the end of the command. This is the starting of the multiple commands, this is the ending of the multiple command. Inside that I can have any special character, whatever I want I can keep it. It won't create any error, it will keep it as it is. That's why I told, if you have created any function to deliver to customer, it can be 100 lines or even 1000 lines of code, you can very well keep it under this commented section. So you don't need to type all 1000 lines, you don't need to keep like type like this. You can have the symbol in the beginning like slash star, and at the end you can have a symbol like this. Then it will clearly state that this is the complete program, and this is the starting, this is the ending, it is showing, and you can very well proceed with that. Any doubt in this so far? Hello world program and that anatomy skeleton. Okay. Next thing what we are going to see here is some basic standard you are supposed to follow. I hope that PPT is visible to you. I'll start it. I doubt whether I can complete, but we will start it. Naming convention. So, what is this naming convention? If you look at a particular word in your IDE or wherever in your notepad also, you should be able to say whether this is a class, this is a method, this is a package. So when you write any name, it should follow some standard patterns. What is the pattern? First look into the pack class. So what they are saying for class should start with the uppercase letter, should be a noun such as button or system. Use appropriate words instead of acronyms. So this is how they are saying. So what you have to do, whenever you say public class and some class name you are giving, that class name, the very first letter should be the capital one, the uppercase it should be, and it should be a noun. So noun and all, it's a basic English grammar. I'm not going into that particular topic. So anything generally you can give. So instead of giving noun, I can say if you are doing any activity related to a vehicle called car, then you can keep a class name as car. If you are doing anything related to fruits, you can keep it as fruits. If you are doing anything related to books, you can keep it as the class name as book. The first letter should be the uppercase, that is a capital letter you can keep. So this is how you can keep the name. Why I'm saying this, because the subsequent sessions will be seeing when you can use now, when you can use adjectives and verbs and all. So noun means it will clearly say it is a class name. Next thing is method. So it should start with a lower case. So I've shown that example also, that main method and all, it will be in the lower case. Should be a verb such as main, print and all. If the name contains multiple words, then start with lower case followed by a uppercase. So let's see what is this. So we will see how we can do this classes and methods in today's session. Okay, so you can see here again, these are the naming convention we follow. It is not mandate, like it won't throw you an error. So one thing I want to tell, that is a good practice that needs to be followed for a neat code. If you create a class with something else that is lowercase, it won't throw you, like if your file name is in lowercase, it won't throw you an error at all. Okay, so there is no mandate that it should be in uppercase, it should be in lowercase. There is no mandate. It is a naming convention we follow. It will be good if you follow that. The method name also, if I say something like this, it won't throw me an error. It will work, the code will work, but it is not a good practice to follow. So that is why we say it is a naming convention. It is not the mandatory rule, but it is a good practice to have something like this. If it is a class name, it should start with the capital letter. If it is a method name, it should start with the lower cases. Say if I want to keep a method called, I told you, right, main method, something like that, if I want to keep. So here it is a two word, main is one word and method is another word. If I want to use two such words for my method name, I can very well do like this. That is, the beginning of the next word will be starting with uppercase, so it will clearly telling that this is one word and this is the other word. So this way you can very well differentiate between your words in the method name, main and method. And one of the good practices, I already told you what is this method. Method is the group of steps which will complete the functionality or the activity which I want to do. I told you, place an order is one of the activity I want to do, or cancel the order is one of the functionality or the activity which I want to do. So those are the actions you are going to perform. So for actions we'll use verb. That's why they gave an example like run, print. So those are the frequently used names for your methods. It will be in the verb format. So the naming convention will be lowercase, and multiple words means there should be the, like the next word should start with uppercase, and the final thing is the naming convention, it should be in the verb format. Instead of noun you can use a verb. So these are the naming convention we follow for the classes and methods. Any doubt in this section? Okay, so with this, I'm ending today's session. So your hands-on activity is, you have to create a simple hello world program, or which like you can name it. You can give your own name also, because I told it's a noun, right? You can create a file with your own name, and you can name the class with your own name, and that is whoever is there in the group, like student one, student two, your own name you can give. And inside that I want you to create something called package, class, a method. For method you can have the main method itself, the static void main method itself. So inside that you can have a single line command and multiple line command. So I want you to create a file with these things. Packages should be there, package name should be there, your class name should be there, a method should be there. You can have the default method called main. Then you will have something called single line command, multiple line command. You can use a symbol which I showed, double slashes, and you can use a symbol called slash star. So those symbols you can use to write your commented code, and you can execute, and you can send me the photo of your executed code in the WhatsApp group. So that is how we regularly do. Once you complete your code, either your laptop, if you are doing it in your mobile, that is also okay for me. Take a screenshot and share it in the WhatsApp group, so that I'll be getting information like whether you are in line with me, whether you're able to follow it or you're stuck somewhere. We'll get an idea about it. Is there any doubt in that particular section? Today's hands on.
Uh,
Okay.
Hi, Yufi. I just
Yes.
wanted to ask one thing. So regarding this
Mhm.
main method, I was seeing that it was public static void. So
Mhm.
like how it, so Java, does it recognizes main as a reserved word and it starts execution like that from that method? Uh,
Yes, yes. So this is
okay.
coming, right? You should have a main method to kickstart that one. Okay, there should be
O-
one static main method. So your JVM actually, we call it as JVM will look for a main method, and from that only your execution will start. So your program should have
o-
at least one main method.
Okay, okay. And regarding the static and void, will you explain later in subsequent
Yes,
classes, right?
yes, there is a separate section itself. For static, it is
Okay,
a vast section, I can say. Not only in method, we will use it in different places. So static is a separate topic, and void also the return type. That topic name is return type. So there we will be discussing in detail
okay,
about void.
okay, okay. Thanks you.
Yeah, welcome. Any other doubt from anyone?
Yeah,
Okay,
hi, Azhar here.
has
Yeah, actually, I missed the today's first class, so I was like I have gone through the introduction of the syllabus video. So in that, I had a couple of queries. Shall I do it now or
yes.
later?
Uh,
Hello.
Then we'll do one thing. We'll ask others to drop. We'll have a one-on-one discussion. Other, if you don't
Sure,
have a
sure.
doubt, others can drop. I'll be available as well, so please be online.